Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome yourselves with a round of applause. Thank you very much. Thank you. At this point, with the passion resident in every one of us about the nation called Nigeria, can we all rise on our feet, wherever you are, in this studio, online, or at home? Please rise on your feet as we are going to take the national anthem of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Even as we take our seats, I would like us to please appreciate a gospel minister, the songwriter, the amazing lady who has a bachelor's degree in English education from the University of Benin, Edo State, and of course, a natural degree in singing. Please, a round of applause for Jennifer Eruja. Our attention has been wrapped so far, and I would like us to step it up a bit, even as we welcome a very, very dynamic person who I like to say, because of the nature of his heart, has refused to grow old. He is not only dynamic, it is evident in his role as an Assistant General Overseer in the Redeemed Christian Church of God, an international church organization represented in over 190 countries. He is solid, he is well-worded, he is very well educated, he is a chemistry graduate of the University of Benin, He is a master's when it comes to business administration. And of course, though married to one wife, he has a Bachelor of Arts in Theology with honorary doctorate award in strategic leadership. Ladies and gentlemen, to give us the welcome speech, please welcome Pastor Peter Honor Amekina.
Please be seated. God bless you. Please, a round of applause to that lady from the best university in Nigeria who just sang. I want to appreciate the organizers of this program for their efforts. You can see everything is in place. Please give them a round of applause. This is going to be a short address on the agenda that is being set for this year. As Nigeria transitioned into the Fourth Republic in 1999, the hopes were very high. Our citizens and global stakeholders expected a transition into a new Nigeria. This owes much to the desire of every Nigerian to live in a nation devoid of autocratic rule, characterized by the abuse of human fundamental rights, corruption, poverty, massive unemployment, and other social vices. And thus, citizens jubilated because of the transition, with high expectations that a new day had dawned for Nigeria, a day that was to usher the country into unity, faith, peace, and progress. This year marks the completion of the fourth democratic cycle also, 20 years after the birth of an era of new national hope. But unfortunately, not much seemed to have changed from the past. According to research, weak institutions, bad governance, poor leadership, and complacent citizens, combined with some other factors, have led our nation into the height of unpredictability. Today, many of our skilled and talented young citizens are migrating to other nations. Many are turning to crimes and other vices. Many are unemployed. And today, Nigeria is a paradox of a nation living in hopelessness in the midst of hope. Bad governance is beyond just changing leaders. It includes changing the nation by changing the mindsets of the people. If a nation with an estimated population of 200 million people, with youths representing almost 60% of this sum, our hope lies in changing the mindsets of our youths and channeling their energies in the right direction. So the Young Adult and Youth Affairs of the Redeemed Christian Church of God recognizes these numerous challenges as opportunities to redirect national thought process and rechannel the energies of our youth as patriotic nation builders. This is the objective behind the birthing of our landmark initiative, the Agenda Nigeria. The Agenda Nigeria is a platform for championing initiatives and constructive dialogues on social, political, and economic issues in Nigeria. It's an initiative with the mission to accelerate the process of nation building and national development by engaging and inspiring young Nigerians who represent the most productive and active demographics of the nation to be at the center of nation building. Our goals include reducing complacency towards nation building among Nigerian youths, promoting responsible leadership, promoting social justice, equity, and transparency as catalysts for nation building. The inaugural edition held last year with the theme Changing the Narratives. This was very successful, and this edition addressed the complacency of young Nigerians towards political participation. I hope after this agenda that we'll find many of our youths not just commenting and debating about politics, but participating in politics. So this year's edition with the theme Beyond Rhetorics, engaging the power of the youths as the key pivots of sustainable national building, will be focusing on activating the power of the Nigerian youth, which makes up a sizable chunk of the population in Nigeria for national development. Our belief is cemented in the reality that redirecting the focus of our youth to nation building is the greatest hope for Nigeria. As we seek to sensitize our youth on taking the center stage in the task of nation building, at this year's edition, we'll be focusing on 3 significant areas of our youth participation: politics, civil society, and social impact, and the need to link the 3 in order to achieve sustainable nation building. We have invited seasoned speakers and panelists who will be navigating us through thought-provoking sessions and engaging discussions within the next few hours. I therefore congratulate you for making yourselves available to be among the young Nigerians who will be privileged to benefit from the pool of wisdom of these eminent Nigerians. I encourage you to go out there and make use of the information and ideas that will emanate from this forum and begin to take action that will lead to self and national transformation. As a building is made by careful laying of one block upon another by a skillful mason, the aggregation of individual impact, even without notice and irrespective of size, is all the nation, and particularly this nation, needs to move forward. Remember, only Nigerians will build Nigeria for Nigerians. Let this be your watchword as you go out there to take positive action that will uplift our nation. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Agenda Nigeria 2.0. God bless you.
Thank you very much, Pastor Peter Honor and Mekina. Please, can we give him a round of applause again? For the Agenda 2.0, the goal here is to engage youth as to engage the power of youth, of young adults and youth, as a pivot to sustainable development, sustainable nation building. I have my co-hosts amongst the audience here, and we would be asking some of us, do you think you are worth believing in as a pivot to bring Nigeria to its next level?
Thank you, LG. Let me take the first speaker. Your name, please.
Good afternoon. I'm Jumoke Ebola. Yes, I believe. Yes, I believe I'm able to change Nigeria.
Okay.
And contribute to nation building.
Okay, so you see yourself as a pivot to sustainable development for the Nigerian nation.
Yes.
Okay, so now that is the agenda. However, what is it that you think you can offer, that you can do?
Yeah. In my space, either as a mother or in my profession and also in my environment, I believe I can affect positively the people around me, one, by my lifestyle, and also in engaging the youth, telling them the right thing to do, and in that space, we can change the nation.
All right,
Thank
in
you.
saying what is right to the young people around you. That means we cannot sit back and keep quiet and expect that people will change or the nation will change. Sometimes if people know better, they will do better. So you share that message and people will get to do better. So I have someone else that I'm going to ask. Please rise and tell us what your name is.
All right, thank you for the opportunity. My name is Mike Adekunle.
All right, so Mike Adegbile.
Adekunle.
Adegbile.
Adekunle.
Adekunle. Okay, please give Mr. Adekunle a round of applause. All right, Mr. Adekunle, what is Nigeria to you today?
Well, Nigeria, I see Nigeria as a nation that is evolving. For Nigeria, no hope is lost. For Nigeria, there is a future. For Nigeria, there is hope. For Nigeria, I see a greater tomorrow of Nigeria.
All right, going by what you see, what do you think you are committed to doing to bringing this to a reality?
Over the years, I've been committed to raising young ones, youths, encouraging them into politics. As I speak to you, I happen to be the state chairman of a political party in Nigeria, a registered political party in Nigeria. And I'm also a leader of a non-governmental organization that is also orientating youths into joining politics. And with all this, I've been able to hear my view and lend my voice in making sure that youths are encouraged to join in politics and to make, their contribution in a positive way to affecting the future of Nigeria.
All right, please a round of applause for Mr. Adekunle. I think we're just beginning to get the idea of the vastness of the audience that we have here today. So we've seen someone speak from the point of view of a mother. We've seen someone speak from the point of view of a thought process leader. I would like us to find someone else. Please, can you rise on your feet and just introduce yourself? Rise on your feet and introduce yourself.
I'm Oluwakalu Harrison.
All right, Mr. Oluwakalu Harrison. What do you think the greatest problem is with Nigeria today? One word.
The greatest problem with Nigeria is ability to transform all our resources into what will bring benefit to Nigerians.
Oh, ability to transform all of our resources into what is beneficiary to Nigerians. So, can I put everything in 2 words and say resource optimization?
Yes.
Okay. So, in your space, what can you do? What do you think you, as an individual, as a citizen of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, what can you do to bring about either an increased awareness or an actual optimization of these resources?
Wow, thank you very much. In my own space, what I do, or what I think I can do, is to ensure that I brings about awareness of what we have and how to bring about the utilization of those resources in order to bring about nation building, to enhance nation building rather, and also, in creating awareness among the youth to enable them understand that all these resources we are having are for our own benefit. And like the opening charge, only Nigerian can build Nigeria. No place we can build rather than Nigeria.
Please, a round of applause for him again. A round of applause for him again. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. With your closing, I feel very emotional. I feel like we should sing the national anthem again, but we won't. Because only Nigerians can do what? Can build Nigeria. I'd like to find someone else. Please rise on your feet. Please rise on your feet. Please introduce yourself.
I am Olukoya Imoleayo.
Olukoya
Imoleayo.
Olukoya Imoleayo. So, Olukoya Imoleayo, what do you do?
All right, I'm a human resource personnel.
Please, a round of applause for Olukoya Imoleayo, who is a human resource personnel. From the viewpoint of your career field, what can human resources bring to this ambition to build a sustainable nation, to build development in Nigeria? What agenda can human resources get Nigeria to achieve?
All right, thank you very much for this opportunity. As we all know, one of the major problems in this country is unemployment. And that is because most companies we have today end up employing the insiders, or rather, let me say it's kind of like inside employment, not taking the employment to the public. And so as a human resource personnel, we should be able to take these employment opportunities to the public and let those that deserve to have this job, and not just someone we know inside taking that position.
So, beyond man no man, as we say it, Nigeria should begin to explore the path of meritocracy.
Okay.
Is that what you're saying?
Very well.
Please give her a round of applause. Give her a round of applause. Is there anybody who would like to I'm looking at you in the audience. All right, I have someone who is up already. So, sir, please tell me what's your name.
My name is George Uvetari.
George Uvetari. What part of Nigeria are you from?
I'm from Delta State.
You're from Delta State. Please, a round of applause for Delta. Thank you. What do you do, sir?
I'm a content creator.
Content creator. What field? Oil and gas?
Media.
Oh, media content creator. Okay. Now, as a media content creator, how can what you do bring some added value to achieving this amazing agenda that Nigeria has before it?
Okay. Basically, we have to change the narrative because over time, we've been subject to a lot of negativity. Where we are today, we didn't just arrive there in one step. It took several steps to get us where we are. And so we have to be objective. We have to be intentional about changing the mindset of people. Beyond rhetoric, are we truly committed to the Nigerian cause? And I mean each and every one of us seated here. Because we go on social media and we do a lot of things that are not helpful to nation building. Recently, we came up with a project for mentorship, entrepreneurship, for leadership and training. Because the education we have received over time in this country was drafted for the industrial age. We are in the information age. Employers keep complaining that graduates are not employable. And so we need to start taking a different approach. We need to be intentional to move this country forward.
We need to take a different approach. We need to be very, very intentional about taking this nation forward. I'm just going to ask one or two more members of the audience for their own thoughts. All right, I have someone who is standing now. Please tell us what's your name and what do you do?
Yeah, my name is Thank God Emmanuel. I'm an administrator.
All right. So, as an administrator, what do you think is the problem with the administration of the Federal Republic of Nigeria? That's a practical question.
All right, thank you. I think it starts from raising the children. When we are impacted as we're growing up, when we get up there, we know what to do. Majority of our leaders now don't have that information they need at that time when they were growing up. That goes into our educational sector. We were not taught. Some things were not really passed across to us. So getting into offices, people just come in there without adding value, putting the right, doing the right thing was not that available. So it goes to, from our educational background, we must put things in perspective.
Okay. Thank you very, very much, Mr. Thank God Emmanuel. I love what you have said. You went from family to education and then to governance. Please give me a round of applause again. I'll take one last person from the audience before we proceed with the rest of the Agenda 2.0. What's your name, sir?
My name is Taiwo Ajayi.
Tayo Ajayi. Where
Taiwo Ajayi.
Taiwo Ajayi. Sorry, I didn't see your twin, so I had Tai. What part of Nigeria are you from?
I'm from Ekiti State.
From Ekiti State. Looking at Ekiti, beyond pounded yam and the rocky hills of Ekiti, you as an individual, I'm going to ask you, why do you think God made you an indigene of Ekiti?
Thank you. That's interesting. I want to pick it from where one of the participants actually contributed. There wouldn't be resource optimization until we have human optimization. So on this note, as a youth facilitator and entrepreneur, right there in Ekiti State and everywhere we found ourselves, we have made up our mind to be an influencer, agent of impact. And we do this gathering youths from different ends of Nigeria, wherever we have contact with them. At the point in time, we had to have centers of education where we have contact with them, and then we educate them as touching who they need to be before they come in contact with national resources. So by the time they get there, they will know the right thing to do. Thank you so much.
Amazing. With what my brother from Ekiti has just said, indeed, if we know better, we would do better, we would be better, and Nigeria will be better. Please give yourselves a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. At this point, I'm going to hand over the microphone to a dynamic young man who is very well versed in matters that concerns every one of us seated here and the Nigerian nation in general. He is the Chief Executive Officer of Kogito Ego Som, and he will be serving as the moderator of the next panel session. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Biodun Famojuru.
Welcome. Thank you very much. Welcome to the Agenda 2.0. Wherever you are in any part of the world, we bid you a great welcome. The subject matter of examination for the Agenda 2.0 is beyond rhetoric. There is a challenging dynamics that we are experiencing. For many, talk is cheap. Action is expensive. The question you must ask yourself is this: how much has talk brought this nation to where it is right now? How much results have we generated? Nigeria is 59 years today. And that's why we're asking questions regarding the young people. What are you doing? Are you the pivot that will bring forth the tool for sustainable nation building? Or are you going to be observers in the subject matter? I find significant things happening to the young people of this wonderful nation. We have embraced a significant distraction, which is called entertainment. There are certain things that we need to be doing, but we are talking about those things and we're not doing them. And things must change. Wherever you are, if you're passionate about this nation, you are the change that Nigeria is waiting for. It is time for you to rise. Like the national anthem says, arise, O compatriots. Nigeria is calling you. Please obey. It is time for me to make welcome. I will be calling up to join me in this wonderful panelist session certain individuals, and please understand, this is a no-holds-barred engagement. It is beyond rhetoric. The first person I'm going to call, he's walking the talk. He's the national auditor of a party in Nigeria called Alliance for New Nigeria. He was the Director General of a presidential campaign team. Make welcome, Lanre Oyegbola. Allow me to tell you this. Lanre's passion for Nigeria is evident for all to see. Wherever you are bound to feel this passion. The next person, a woman of no mean feat, a woman of substance. I will not go the way of timber and caliber, but she has it as well. Her name is Dr. Mrs. Omowumi Asa. Celebrate her. She runs an organization as the presiding officer and CEO of ITech Center for Nigeria, Women and Youth. She's a lead consultant. The list of her achievements and her passion is endless, but we will hold it for now. So you will see her also walking the talk. I am going to call on the next gentleman. He's going to be engaging us in a very, very robust direction. He's a man, group CEO of many organizations, a serial entrepreneur, Ayola Jolayemi. The next person I'm going to call upon has traversed various fields of endeavor and life. The co-founder and former group executive director of Sahara Group, a member of a political party. Make welcome, Tonya Cole. So now we get into the meat of our conversation for today. I'm going to be asking you, the world is watching, Nigeria is watching. The Agenda 2.0 2019 says beyond rhetoric, meaning that rhetoric is the art of persuasive communication in speech and in writing. So the question I'm going to put to you first, starting with you, Tonya Cole, what should Nigeria be doing now, particularly the youth, as pivots for sustainable nation building? You will all answer this question. Please note, choose your words carefully, for they can and will be used for or against you.
Now you know his profession. But on a more serious note, I'll give you three things. The first aspect of it is that the youth have to know their power. Collectively, you have one of the greatest voices that Nigeria has ever had. But sadly, your voices are so divided that Nigeria is not being held to account. So number one, know your power. You are actually extremely, extremely powerful. Number two, what does Nigeria need today? Nigeria needs the youth to know their rights. Know exactly who you are, what you are, and what you can do. In other words, you must study the political terrain very well to know exactly where you can impress, where you can make a difference. And the third thing that Nigeria actually needs is a total change in leadership structure. Where do you come in play for this? It means that you have to begin to take a very active role in determining who your leaders are, where they come from, what they do, and hold them to strict account. These are three things that I believe that Nigeria needs.
Thank you very much. Larry Ubala, your view.
Thank you very much. Let me begin just to quickly show to the youth of Nigeria that power that Tonya Cole has referred to. And I'm going to put it clearly to every person that is beyond the age of 18 in Nigeria and is at most 45 years old. You are 75% of Nigeria's population, which means that if there are 10 people that walk the streets of Nigeria, 7 of you are between the age of 18 and 45 years. One of the things that the success of engaging the power of the youth that Tonya Cole talked about brought in the election that just went by in February 2019 was that the involvement of certain individuals and also, if you permit me to say, a party like the Alliance for New Nigeria brought 23 million young voters to register for the first time in the history of Nigeria. 23 million young people. Now, so that we understand that power, because you see, it is easy to say power, but until you begin to see that that power is actually available, it might appear as if it's a mirage. 75% of this population, contrasted with 23 million people who should have their voter's card. So not knowing your power means that you have not gone to collect your voter's card. So you cannot effect any change. More than 90% of these people are unemployed and at best without any education. So that power that you have in number is not propelled by anything that can galvanize you to make anything productive to happen. So if there is anything that is going to change with the perspective of the youth, it will mean, number one, get involved and get your voter's card. Whatever it will cost you, wherever they will put the place to collect it, what time of the day they will ask you to come and collect it, ensure that you have it. And because they have made sure that you are unemployed, it gives you enough room to sleep there and collect your card, right or wrong. Now you see, so let's stretch the power a bit further. It means that if you understand that from the point Nigeria became independent and today, everybody that I read when I was in secondary school is still ruling Nigeria. In other words, it means that if my late father were to be alive, his mates are still the ones determining the fate of over 80 million Nigerians who are young people who are meant to be the one taking their nation. Don't forget that these same people were the ones who fought for where Nigeria is today and what we are celebrating. So they see that they are reaping from their own labor. So my point to the young people in Nigeria is that where is your labor? You are trying to reap where you have not sown. So it means that if you have the power by way of your number, you need to go and labor. So that the labor of our heroes past, now you see, is not in vain because they are reaping it. Now let me conclude by saying, just so that I can balance, 3 to 3. Yeah. So the third thing to pay attention to is that, yes, we need to speak in one voice. And that one voice must, to a large extent, bring to bear the real notion for establishing certain programs in Nigeria. For example, the National Youth Service Corps. The real intention was to detribalize Nigeria and never that will remember that I am from any particular part of Nigeria. So why shouldn't the people, the young people of Nigeria, stand up and take an action to say we must expunge state of origin in everything that we have to complete in Nigeria? If I am a Nigerian, I don't need to be known by my state. What is most important is the nation state Nigeria. So I don't need to be known that I'm from the north or from the south or from the east or the west. I am first and foremost a Nigerian. The moment we take that out, and if we, that are 75% of the population, raise a bill to the National Assembly and say an end must come to state of origin in Nigeria, we want to first be seen and only be seen as Nigerians, then we will attain the first meaningful action to creating the change we will see. Because what it means is that we will not see that you are from the north, or you are from the south, or you are from the west. And all we will see will be who is best suited to do the job, and we all will go behind him or her and get it done.
Like we did mention earlier, you can feel the passion of Lanre Yobola. I would have assumed as you were communicating and pontificating that you were on a campaign trail once again. All right, Dr. Mamuriaza, over to you.
Very interesting. I'm sure from listening to him, we need to ask the question next, and that is the fact that what is our competence as youth? If we need to take it further, if we need to start from where the elders had actually reaped their own labor, then the question is, what is your competence? What do you know about Nigeria? Is it just what you hear on the news? Or what exactly is it about Nigeria? Can I ask us in this room, how many of us have a copy of the Constitution of Nigeria? How many people? No, let's be frank, let's be very open. Okay, very few of us. Very few of us, interestingly. And that's the beginning of our pivoting a change that we really want to see. Occasionally, when you listen to the assembly members and the debates and they say section this, section that, as anybody among the youth who want to take a bill to them, actually take time to know what that section says. And then the next thing will take me to the issue of global competence. We cannot make a difference if we don't have a role to play in the issues of skills. in the issues. I mean, it's embarrassing when you notice that many of the ministers that we have today, like you said, they are very, very old. But the question is, they kept telling every young person in Nigeria that you don't know what the politics is saying. So again, I asked my second question, what are the policies of Nigeria that many youths today know about? I have seen several people who are their age of 40, 50, who work in ministries, and young people graduating are scrambling for that same job when you are supposed to be the one producing and creating new jobs. I am beginning to see that we have a lot of Nigerian youth who really don't care any longer about skills, about hard work, about big ideas. This is a time for critical thinking. This is a knowledge economy, and we cannot run the race with those who have lived all their lives in the parliaments and the palace of the powers with our head knowledge of what we think we read in the news. So I want to drop at this hour that I am looking towards seeing youth in Nigeria who have the competence to be able to drive a change. Who is skilled in science? You are skilled in mathematics, or you are an artist, or you are anything, an artisan. Even now, the artisan, and of course, if we know, the informal sector in Nigeria is actually contributing a lot to the GDP of Nigeria. But the question is, how many young people are interested? I'll take an hypothetical case. You are a civil engineer, graduated from a university, or an agricultural or whatever engineer, and then you finish, you want to go to the ministry and carry files all your life. That's a misnomer. Where we have the agricultural sector looking for people like you that can do the engineering and put in place exactly what you have learned all your life. Today, we are seeing young people. Today in Nigeria, we see a lot of young Nigerians who just want to finish and carry their files from one office to the other. Recently, I was talking to a youth corps member who just finished and said, well, I just want to be in any of the ministries in Abuja. And I said, fine. And then you continue to carry files for your daddy and your mommy, and everything you have learned in school is forgotten in another 1 or 2 years. And that's the problem we have today in terms of competency. So I want to see in Nigerian youth today, those who are saying, I am not going to look for a job, I'm going to create the job. I want to see in Nigeria today, many that would dare to say, I will be another Frank or Zangote, for instance, another, Zuckerberg, another person that you really think you should be, and not actually looking forward to what exactly any government or anybody will do to you. And that is another issue. And then I'm looking at youth who will be able to use languages, critical languages in Nigeria. We've been to several countries. I will see that for you to see a Chinese first speak English to you, you would have been sure that you are not able to communicate else otherwise. They just want to discuss issues and discuss developments in their language. Recently, there is a publication that many Chinese governments or children will not go to any universities abroad to go and learn arts or sociology or psychology. They are going to learn the high-tech technologies. And then when they are returning back to their country, they are starting a new industry. They are becoming a challenge to that university that trained them. And today, I challenge all the youths here. Where is your learning? What have you learned in school? When you got out of school, who are you? What do you want to take away? How do you develop Nigeria looking at that? So I'm seeing a skill set of young people who really think that they can take Nigeria into their hands. Who really think that when they look at renewable technologies as the world is tending to, they are the creator. They are the engineers. They are the ones that hold everything into their hands in a knowledge economy. So please, I just really feel that yes, while we have the political class, I have asked 2 questions. What are the policies and agenda of governments that we want to work with? What is it that we want to trail and tell Nigerian governments? This is what the strategy says. Looking at what I have in me, I can do A, B, C. And that is a beginning for many youths in Nigeria to begin to take their destiny into their hand and make a difference in a country that is ours, where we don't want Chinese people to govern us in the next couple of years.
Dr. Azan, you've asked questions. You've also spoken. We're going to go to Ayola Jalayemi, but please note, remember that I said that the words that you speak, we will come back to those words, and we will examine them critically and carefully. Ayola Jalayemi.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. The big question I'd like to ask us is, when we look, what do we see? The political class and those who are in power have made it very attractive to see only the negative. And one of the things I learned while I was starting my own walk into the business field was the chaos theory. And the chaos theory says the few people prosper the most in the midst of the biggest chaos. In the biggest of chaos is the most order. When there is chaos, there is the biggest of order. And it means that only a few people see the order when there is chaos. And so if we look at the number of us in this place now, maybe about 500 or more, and maybe over 1 million people watching online, the question in the mouth of everybody is, can Nigeria ever be better? And that is because we have been made to believe that our focus should always be upon negative. And the moment you're seeing the negative, you can never do anything positive about it. Why is that so? I'll give a very simple example. People are saying go into agriculture, go into agriculture. As of today, the waste from post-harvest in agriculture is $47.6 billion per annum. Every year there is a waste, 40% waste of what our farmers have already planted, they have cultivated, and they have harvested. If you convert that into Naira, we're talking about almost 30 trillion, which is, give or take, our Nigerian budget per year is about $26 billion. So if you look at it, we're talking about 2 years' budget is wasted every year in post-harvest waste. Now the question in the mouth of everybody will be, why then do we say go into agriculture? When they say go into agriculture, what you hear is the negative, go and plant. There is no land to plant. We forget that there is a value chain in agriculture. The man who plants in Isain does not know how to get that to the city. The man who plants does not know who needs to consume what he has planted. But the biggest challenge we have in Nigeria today is not the number of Nigerians, it's the quality of Nigerians. Our thinking it is already posited that in the year 2050, Nigeria will be the third most populous country in the world. It is not the quantity of the Nigerians that is the problem, it's the quality of our thinking. The third thing that I believe we have a challenge with is the fact that we overthink, we do nothing. Every one of us are what we will call the horse that runs so fast in the book. Every single person here is a fantastic policy maker, but which of us here is a doer? At the point when we're going to start doing business, it was a problem of what exactly is wrong with the young people. I'm an employer of labor. I conduct interviews every day. It is unfortunate that at the point you have 1,000 resumes, even as bad as they don't even know what they're applying for. They come in and you ask them, what role did you apply for? I applied for a job. Anything where you did, make I shall get something to do. And that is the beginning of our woe. Like the doctor said, we hear them say in the parliament, section this, subsection that. Which of us knows what is in the subsection? Nigeria's budget has been out for many months. How many of us here have reviewed the budget? My guess is as good as yours. Nobody. Because what you see, there's already a problem. All the money in the budget, they know who they want to give it to. But do you know that there's a good number of young people in this country who feed annually upon the budget of a local government? Not even the state, not even the federal. We are so quick to look at the big pie, we forget that it is the little drops of water that makes the ocean. Whether we like it or not, if Nigeria is going to be great, if Nigeria is going to be better, we must start at the bottom of the pyramid. A Yoruba proverb says, Ibi pelebe lati mu olenaje. Thank you very much.
All right. Ayala Jalayami, thank you very much. Your last statement would require some technological translation for our viewers globally. Pelebe? Pele. But now on a serious note, you've said, everyone, I appreciate you greatly, and I know that those watching us all over the world appreciate you. But I want to say something, and I'm not holding brief for the youth. Mine is to play the Asian provocateur. How will a youth be the pivot of sustainable nation building when he's consistently mentally raped? Mentally, he's raped. And I need you to respond to this with definitive action points. When I say mental rape, you are in the Southwest, your JAMB score is 250, applied for law in the University of Ibadan, the premier university, and you are told that you cannot make the cutoff. But someone in another location scored 180, 150, and they have automatic admission. Mentally, that shits you. Then they tell you that from that fact that you cannot enter for law, even though you are 250, can you take another course? Political science, mass comm, English. And then you compromise the future that you desire to see. Then you enter the university. And then you find out that certain persons within the institution, they have preference by gender. You're already receiving your mental rape. Let's move from that quickly. What about mental assault? You look at things, somebody is building a road in Nigeria and does not think about the drainage system. And so that road will not last you 6 months. And in Nigeria, mentally, there's a celebration of roads. You are cutting tape for road in the 21st century. So the young man looks at everything going on around him and he's asking questions. His mental value is being diminished. You were talking about agriculture and talking about technology and a lot of significant things. A man that is hungry can easily be manipulated. So every election here, someone packages money to give to the hungry young man. He has been hungry through the year, living on breadcrumbs, and says, come here, election is here. I want to empower you in this short term. I give you X amount of money. How will that young person become the youth of sustainable nation building? This is beyond words. I need your affirmative action. Some persons have said, if I collect PVC, will my vote count? Will my vote count? Now understand this. Beyond rhetoric means that we are not speaking high-level language of English. We're speaking solutions with action. Toriko, I start with you.
These are very, very good questions. And it all starts with you and I. The first thing is that nothing is going to change as long as we sit in rooms like this and do nothing about it. So let us start with who is what he talked about regarding JAMB scores, merit, demerit, quota system, and all of that. Somebody sat in a position of leadership a couple of years ago, 50 years ago, 40 years ago, and designed all of this. How many of you have now entered into that position of leadership to change it? As long as we are not in the position of leadership to make that correction, it's just going to continue. So the first thing that you have to ask yourself, as you say beyond rhetoric, is how do you get there? The one thing that you must get there is understand one thing. You are in a political democracy. There's only one way that you can enter into a position of leadership to make the changes that you want to see. It means that you have to be actively involved in the political process, not just in the voting. If you are waiting to just carry your PVC and go and vote, it is too late. By the time you go out to vote, it is too late. The first aspect of it is that you must, I love the fact about bottom of the pyramid. The first thing is that you have to be at the bottom of the pyramid in the political party, which means that where congresses hold, you must be a part of it. Are you aware that there are certain states right now and certain places where political parties are doing congresses and most Nigerian youths do not even know it's happening? The congress is where the primaries are going to be determined. A congress is going to put delegates of young people like you to make decisions of who your future president is going to be. They are the ones who will come out and determine at a primary that it's going to be Mr. Lagbaja or Mrs. Lagbaja that will become president. By the time that happens, it's already too late for you. So, number one, you want to make the changes that you want to see down the line, begin at the Congress. I met an old man once, a politician, elder politician, and I went and sat down with him and I said, look, I know you. I know you, my father, and so many others who sat down to design what democracy should look like. You fought to take democracy from the military. Are you happy with what you are seeing? He said, no. I said, this is not what you designed. This is not what you imagine that you will see. He said, you're right. I said, why is it? At this time, the man is in his 70s. I said, why is it that you are sitting down as an old man today, still in politics, and you have not handed over the reins of politics to the younger generation? He looked at me and he said, number one, your generation is extremely lazy. He said, number two, you expect that people are going to come and give power to you. He said, power will never be given. He said, number three, get up and take the power, that you have the ability to take it. He said, you are waiting for us to call you, to come and look for you wherever you are. I said, come and take, this is power. He said, it does not happen. He said that you have the numbers, you have the intelligence, you have the people behind you. Get up and take this power. Nobody will give it to you. He said, as long as your generation is waiting, and that's speaking to you and I, that as long as we are waiting for people to come and hand it over to us, it's not going to happen. So, based on that, I knew immediately that if you do not get up and get directly involved, you will never do it. I will round up with one thing. He said also to me, he said that we give the facade that politics is very dirty and is bloody and is very difficult. And we make that facade, we put it that way because we know most of you don't want to get your hands dirty. You want to be clean. You want to stay outside. You don't want to enter the ruffle, but you want the perks of leadership. He said it will not happen. You need to come in. You need to come and fight the battle. You need to come and take it because we will hold it for as long as you are not ready to do it. The last thing he said is that when life will take us out, not true, he says at some point we are going to die. At some point we will leave power by death. But the day that we are going to leave, the only people that will take over from us are those who are in the room with us at the time we die. He said, where are you? You are outside. As long as you're outside, you cannot see power. Learn these lessons. As long as nobody in this room is a card-carrying member of a political party, going for meetings and ensuring that at those meetings they become part of the executives of the party, you are not going to get power. Thank you.
For those who are watching us wherever you are in the world, it is still the Agenda 2.0, Beyond Rhetoric, engaging the youth as pivots of sustainable nation building, powered by the Young Adult and Youth Affairs of the Redeemed Christian Church of God. Powerful statements there, Mr. Cole. If the best of us will not engage the rest of us, we would have the worst of us ruling all of us. I'll say it again. This is an original quote. If the best of us will not engage the rest of us, we would have the worst of us ruling all of us. Larry Ebola, speak.
Thank you very much. So I need to really say a very big thank you to Mr. Cole, because he just prepared the ground for me to be able to say that the room that you can get into now is the one that has not been shut. The room that they have shut the door, closed the windows, fenced it around with bodyguards, area boys here, area boys there. So the room that you need to get into is the room that you and I can begin to build now. We can get into that room. I'm sure you agree with me. So what I'm saying in essence is this, without appearing to be campaigning. You have an opportunity to pick up the membership of the Alliance for New Nigeria. Because Mr. Cole has just advised us to get in the room. Now, he also mentioned the fact that we need to look at the bottom of the pyramid. You see, the longer the food chain, the farther you are away from whatever happens. Now, when you get in a room, that though is a room, there are different types of room. There's a room that can take 2 people, and there's a room that can take the whole of Nigeria. Some structures are rooms. They say it's one room, but where you are, you can't even hear the echo. So in other words, what I'm trying to say is this. As a generation of young people, particularly that were Nigerians, and I speak from my experience, I have no business to do what I'm doing. I really do not have, what you will call, what is the motivation? But beyond the benefits that anyone will seek is also the reality of what Bionu have talked about. If you do not get involved, the people that will get involved, I grew up in a part of Lagos, I grew up in Oshodi. So I can tell you, when I see people who are dropouts when we were reading are the ones who are now calling the shots politically. As in, when we were very studious, trying to make all A's and get into the best universities, the ones who left school in their second year in secondary school are the ones today celebrated. Even governors, political leaders attend their functions because they are the ones who are in the room. So this room, we need to really look at this room and then ask ourselves, who are the kind of people in the room? So the point is this, like you mentioned, there's a mental, deliberate process to ensure that the average young Nigerian has been taken away from thinking Nigeria to thinking self. And it's a very simple process. If you are hungry, you cannot think about Nigeria. The first thing you will think about is how to deal with your hunger. So listen to me, young Nigerians like myself. We understand that. Do we agree that we understand this reality? Yes. Now, know that we know that it's a game. We will now ignore the hunger. You see, we are not just mentally lazy. They made us to be mentally lazy. Because if a man is hungry, you can't ask him to do anything. An hungry man, however, is an angry man. So listen to me, and I would like to say this not to young Nigerians. We are setting up Nigeria on the path that it might be very dangerous when the majority of your population, and according to the statistics that Ayola talked about, by 2050 will be the 4th largest population in the world. And not only that alone, a study was conducted that the federal government is aware of, that Nigeria is meant to be the net exporter of skilled labor to the world market, next to China, by 2030. Should this not happen because we are not able to produce the right kind of people, what we would have is high level of criminality and crime. So let's not be taken aback that very soon you don't need to travel far before you are kidnapped. Your next door neighbor will just look at you and like, okay. Let's kidnap this one. Now, let's understand that it's a very sad reality. Because we are tilting in the direction where our demography, that should be a dividend, can become a disaster. Now, if those who are in the room are sincere enough, then they should know they are about to have a trouble they cannot manage. In other words, they have options. Option 1, open the door of the room. Option 2, allow other rooms. So if you don't want to open your own room, then allow other rooms to be built, like ANN. No, I mean, I'm talking to Mr. Cole is APC. Build other rooms and allow every man to allow people to enter his room. If your own room is a room of people who drop out on school at GSS2, and now they are union leaders controlling transport, and another room is a room of those who had gone to university, it's now left for Nigerians to determine, and young Nigerians for that matter, to determine which room to enter. Now, listen to me. There is the truth in the fact that, yes, there is a facade that makes politics appear dirty and deadly. But it is also real that it is dirty and deadly. It depends on the room you enter. Now, if you enter the right room, it doesn't have to be dirty. If you are in the right room, it doesn't have to be deadly. But if you choose where you have, those gang boys and all of that, then you should be ready to fight some really ruffle. Now, let me close by saying that the truth of our being mentally lazy has not only come from the people who have made it so. It has also come from the fact that we are the generation that has been exposed to the highest level of technology you can ever think about. Now, you see, technology can do two things to a man. It can make you to be more efficient, or it can make you to be more lazy. So what it does is that it can take you to a point where you see opportunity in everything that you can use technology to reproduce and to make even work better. It can also make you to be very lazy. So for example, if I know that I don't have to do my laundry the way we all grew up doing laundry, and all you need to do right now is put in a machine, turn it on, go and watch DSTV, cross your leg. If I time it, it will whistle to you when it's done. Now, you can become very lazy. So, we have become a generation that has lived our life with technology, particularly social media. And I'll close by saying that I saw a video that went viral, and I'm sure a lot of us must have seen it. There was a gate in between, and there were two sets of dogs who apparently were trying to fight each other. And they were barking at each other so furiously. I guess somebody somewhere just pressed the remote of the gate to say, if you guys want to fight now, let's remove the barrier so that you can fight. And suddenly, the gate opened and the dogs backed off. The dog on the right backed off, the dog on the left backed off. Does that say anything about the Nigerian youth?
Yep.
Oh, we know how to rant. We can rake on social media and do all the shouts and do all the whatever, but there is no action on the ground. When they open the field and say, let us now fight, then that is where everybody will say, who is going to die? But you see, the truth is this. Let me also try to do one Yoruba adage. He said, Mo fe ku konje yole babae. If you don't want to die, you can never ever have the throne that truly belongs to you. And all I'm going to say is this. If they make you mentally lazy, yes, because you are hungry, and you need a lot of glucose in your brain to be active. So hunger takes away glucose. So we can agree that. You are also helped him by ensuring that you live all your life on social media without having your legs on the ground. So both of it combined have suddenly, made us who we are. But I believe there is a drive. And it has begun already. All right? And we just have to sustain it. Thank you very much.
Very soon, there will be a communication that Larry Yebola, the emancipator of the rooms. All right. A statement was made. We're coming to you, Dr. Omomi Hassan. Power will not be given. You must take it. As Mr. Yebola was talking, he was talking about open the door. Why not remove the door? Why not remove the windows? Because it's a thought process. Martin Luther King said, I have a dream. He did not stay there. He walked the dream. The Montgomery Walk, the Alabama Walk, he walked the dream. You spoke about social media. Recently, there's a reality program going on, globally in Africa. The young people in Nigeria are aware. They are voting massively. And these are the same sets of people that will not come out to vote during election. And they will say, last, all man will be all right. Isn't that a travesty of life? Isn't that a tragedy? Because we're talking about engaging the youth, not in another symposium, not in another seminar, not in another program, because understand this, everyone, and those watching us at home. One of the objectives of the agenda for this year is that from this engagement, there will be 4 major cardinal expressions: technology, social impact, governance, and enterprise. Persons who are interested in this direction will connect to us, forming a coalition. We have been talking. You talk about the young people not being employable. You know why? They are bringing their curriculum vitae to a market that has changed significantly. What they were taught in school and what the world is demanding, there is no alignment. It is different. So I asked a young person, tell me about yourself. What I am asking is, tell me your strong points. And that person says, my name is. I said, no, I know your name. Tell me about yourself, Dr. Hassan. Tell us something about ourselves.
Obviously, and I'm actually thinking about telling a little bit about how I personally has evolved. I think that we have a choice in everything. You can choose to be hungry and go and steal. And then you can choose to be hungry and go and work. And that is the dichotomy that I think many youths cannot actually find expression. I quite remember that when you mentioned the issues of scores and then the university admission, You know, interestingly, we are hosting this within the Redeemed family, which is global. And by the grace of God, it's going to make a lot of difference, because that is the meaning of the today's agenda, seeing where we can actually come in to make a change. And I want to say to everybody, if you know what exactly you want to be, you don't need to be pushed. I was privileged to go and do my IT in an organization where I had to learn how to type. I read computer science. Yes, they didn't teach us everything in school, but I saw the typists of the office doing PageMaker, doing Excel. We were not taught in school, and I knew it is part of IT. And I sit with her every time to learn how to do Excel. And that is a difference. You could make yourself feel too big and say, you are, after all, I'm an undergraduate. She didn't go to school. Today, we are talking about knowledge exchange, where we are seeing the town and the gown coming together to produce somebody better in us. I went somewhere outside the country, precisely the US, and I saw GS3 students producing drones. GS2, GS3 girls, not even boys. And I came back and I asked myself, I have a PhD. Can I produce a mobile phone? Can I even produce a knife? And that is a big question that I personally came back with. And I told myself, what is the problem of the country? I had a list. And we took it from one level to the other, looking at the power problem, for instance. And we said, this technology called solar, what can we do about it? Today, by the grace of God, I started to learn it myself. And I'm now teaching people how to assemble solar panels in Nigeria. That is not going to come from anybody. In between, thank you, in between this line, as an IT person, and then by virtue of the fact that courses you want to read, you don't get it, I was forced to do policy. Today, the powers in the room, sir, that you are mentioning, they need a knowledge to execute what they are doing. I can tell you emphatically how many policies I am the one that wrote the forward. In other words, what you thought the president said, I am the one that wrote it. What that means is that we can actually become people, because a lot of speeches that we hear are written by who somebody is in one place or the other. But when you don't make yourself available to do it, when you are not competent enough to be available to do it, then whatever statement that you are agreeing to the president, I'm sure the speech we heard today, Nigerians have been diversely, discussing it and here and there. But the question is, who is the government that is actually in operation? Who exactly is in that room? And so I need us to know that young people in Nigeria, we are looking at how to be sustainable. And for me, I'm looking at it from the mindset of, let us as youth take our destiny by knowing who we are. If there is something you need to learn, don't be afraid. Go and learn it. If you need to learn it from somebody who never went to school, like Bill Gates, all of us are learning from Bill Gates today. We were told he's a dropout. But today is like the big man of the entire industry. We need to take time to go and learn it. Humility will help us to be who we want to be and make a difference in Nigeria. And that will take me to the fact that youth of today needs to begin to come together in a very reasonable coalition. Enough of us doing, we can't do, all of us can't be on the streets. Yes, some people are coming from the streets, they didn't go to school and they are politicians. But the truth of the matter is that the big powers of the political party, even if we start our own today, we are not sure we can compete with them. And that is why we need to probably join some of those political parties. That's why I told myself, and I told many people that I know, instead of you starting a new one that will not have relevance, in the assembly in the last 1 week, they've been debating how they should scrap every party who didn't have enough votes. And that means that even if we start one today, the policies may arise tomorrow that they should be removed. So what is that saying to us as youth? Can we find our place in one of the big parties? Can we begin to become relevant to them? When they need to write their agenda, you are the one writing for them. When they need to do something on technology, you are the one available to them. And one day, Like one of the professors I know who became the national secretary of one of the big parties, when they needed somebody that have intellectual capability to help that party to move to the next level, they sought out for him in the university. And he became their national president. I sat down with him one day and I asked him, how did you get here? Have you become so big a person in the politics? He said no, because when they needed to write a draft of anything, of their memo, he does it for them. When they needed to read something, many of them can't speak. So are you surprised most times that most of the people in the Senate, they don't even understand the English that they are saying there. They are just sitting down there, they are just watching. Somebody is standing outside. I have done that for one or two of them. They are standing outside there, interpreting for them, helping them to say what they should say, so that their constituency will not think they are just collecting money and don't doing anything. And that is why the youths are very relevant. You cannot just sit down there and don't just parade. Meet some of the people in the house. Ask them questions. Today we are talking about evidence policy making. Who is going to do the evidence for them? Who is going to gather the research data for them? We need young people who can actually make up their minds that even though others are doing it, are just collecting money, I want to do my own in a very constructive way that will make a lot of difference. And I know many people are being sought out for. A lot of people are looking for the dynamic young people all over. Are you not surprised that somebody is abroad? Is already a consultant or a special assistant to one of those top people inside those small rooms that we thought they are. They are just in their room. They really don't know what to do. But they need you. They need all of us to know what to do. And get out there and help them. And we can't sit down and just complain. That's what I've seen many Nigerians do. We just complain. We just keep talking everywhere. But the question is that can you approach them? Even from the leadership in religious organizations, you will be surprised that many people are just there. They have the titles, but they actually don't know what to do. They see the youth in church, they are contending. This one is going here, this one is going there. And they are just wondering, how do I do it? We need to become a knowledge citizen. We cannot sit on the fence, yes, but before you can come in and join the room, either you want to break the door or you open it by force, you must have something to deliver to them. They must look up to you. You can't just come in. It's not possible. And then I want to say to us that I see youth that actually have an inclusive approach. Today, the global economy, the global and international community are talking about gender issues. I won't leave here without mentioning that. When you are a lady, when you are a female, and then you cannot actually have anything to do for yourself, you are waiting till when you will get married and somebody will carry your burden, then you are not speaking to the economy. And as you talk about this, the youth being 75%, women also are about 55%. Of the population. Either you are young or you are old. And what we are saying to many females is that whatever a man can do, a woman can also do it. Today, we are beginning to produce engineering things. We are looking at how do we work on the environment. And some of these things are affecting most women and children. Today, we have done digesters that helps us to carry waste and translate that to domestic gas cooking products. These are things that will not come from any government. You must have a solution. And I say to every Nigerian, that problem you complain about every day, you are the solution to that problem. Search it out within you. You have a solution. And you must just think inward and ask yourself, how do I do this? I can't imagine so many governments who are not looking up to some of us and saying, you can do this. Come and help us. Don't just assume that they know what they are doing. They may all be in the room. I don't have any issues with that. But if I want everybody in the assembly to gather in this hall today, it is to speak to what is their concern. You can't talk about anything that is not working with them and then you want them to support you. No, it's not going to work. I'm just going to tell youth in this house, for us to have sustainable development, please ask yourself, who are you? What can you contribute to this country? And from there, develop a relationship on a coalition that brings your like minds together, and then let's begin to make a difference everywhere we are.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Hassan. Ayola Jalayem.
Okay, so we've been speaking politics, which is amazing. But we forget that politics is successful or rides on the base of policies. Policy is knowledge-driven. Now, when we have human beings who focus on building themselves as single entities, we would have a problem. My mom said something to me very many years ago. She said, a band of hyenas will send a pride of lions fleeing. No matter how strong the lion is, when you have a band of hyenas, the lion knows at that point that he cannot stand, despite the fact that he is strong. And why would that be so? It's because the hyenas know that the worst that would happen is that one of us will be sacrificed. That's the best that can happen, or that's the worst that can happen. So what we need to look at today as youth is we must get away from the position of instant gratification. We must shut out our minds from being the people that want Jehovah sharp, sharp. Answer now, a fast food generation. If we must build anything sustainable, that's the word, sustainable, then it must go through the crucible of preparation. It must be prepared for it to be worth the while. We have 75%, like Larry said, of the population now. But let me tell you that the average population of Nigeria today is 17.7 years. So it tells us that in the next 4 years, about 44 million people will be added to the voting population. So it means that what was the total number of votes in the last election? About 18 million. 18 million. So what that tells me is that if in the next 4 years, we shut out instant gratification and we bury ourselves to do the work, by every means, even the new room can be the ones in government. Not only the old room, the people in the new room can be the ones running the shop. But here is where my dilemma is. If the new room takes power, what assurance do we have that it will not be a greater disaster? Because the point is, are we prepared? Do we know what it takes to run government? Do we understand the economic policies, the macroeconomics that guide government expenditures? Do we even know what it takes to be leaders in the real sense of it? The amazing part is, no is the answer. We do not have what it takes now as of today. If we get into power, most of us in this room will make a mess of it. And so I will put this in this way. What we need to do is for the clean water to go through the process of what I call substitution. And here is how it works. If clean water runs over dirty water over a period of time, what you will see is the complete elimination of dirty water, only if the clean water comes with the power of its numbers. So if I have dirty water in a cup or in a pool or even in a channel, all I need is a constant rush of clean water through that same pipe. I do not need to create a new pipe. If I put clean water through that same pipe over a period of time, the challenge is we want to see the change that the rot has happened over 59, in fact, scratch that, over 70 years. You want to put in the effort of 4 years to take away the rot of 70 years. It will not be possible. It's not magic. It goes through process. But we must be ready to pay the price and do what is called delayed gratification. Pay the price now and get the prize later. We must work the work, build the system, create the values in the people around us, ensure that no matter what happens, our eyes is on the prize. Have you seen a man who knows that he has nothing to lose? There is nothing impossible for him. Also, a man who has everything to lose goes without hold him back. He goes for the jugular. Nigerian youth, we are in the middle. We have nothing to lose. We have so much to lose. We have chosen to sit on the fence. You either have everything to lose or you have nothing to lose. What does it mean by having nothing to lose? Whatever happens right now, I'm already down. I have no fall. The nursery rhyme says, he that is down, he fears no fall. He that is low, no pride. So he knows very well that at this point, the lowest ebb I can get to, I'm already there. The best that can happen is an upward trajectory. And I continue to push further until I get what I want. My final point is that none of us is as good as all of us. No matter how much strength you have for yourself, until we understand the power of collective responsibility, we cannot achieve the Nigeria we are talking about. It will keep being a dream and not a vision. Because all you do is you wake up, you do not know how to implement. When it's a vision, you have a body of people that will make it happen. Guys, please, don't see your small onion as powerless. African onion, if you peel it, you will cry. So you know very well that that small piece of bulb, when it is as small as it is, it knows its potency. See yourself as a part of a bigger picture, and then let us connect. It is a matter of time. If we all put our heads together in the real sense of it, we will be able to build Nigeria that our children will be proud of. Andrew, no go check out. Oh, this one, no go check out.
Mr. Jolayemi, I feel your passion. I hear your passion. I understand your passion. The person who sees everything from the point of solution does not see difficulties. He or she only sees opportunities. If you will approach every subject in your life not as a difficulty, not as a problem, but as an opportunity, then Nigeria will be better. And Nigeria deserves to be better. We're going to be calling on someone to speak to us. We're glad that she's been able to join this wonderful panel. One of Forbes' 20 most powerful young women in Africa. A social entrepreneur focused on entrepreneurship, youth education, development, and public leadership. A founder and CEO of Rise Networks, author, public speaker, globally acclaimed awardee. Her works as a devoted mentor to hundreds of young people in business, politics, non-profit, and tertiary institutions across Africa has earned her global recognition beyond Nigeria. And a panelist at the Agenda Nigeria 2.0. Make welcome Toyosi Akerele Ogunseju as she delivers a keynote address to everyone concerning the subject matter of Beyond Rhetoric. Please make her welcome once again. Engaging the power of youth as a key pivot of sustainable nation building.
always say that so I consider it an absolute privilege to be sharing the podium this afternoon with a couple of people I consider my fathers, my uncles, my mentors, my mothers, and my brother. Uncle Tonya has been like a father to me over the last 11 years. Please give him a round of applause. I would not be standing before you if people like him didn't see the potential in a raw, rough young woman like me many years ago. So every time that I have the opportunity to share a platform with him, I think the last time was in Calabar in July 2018. I consider it an absolute privilege, and Uncle Larry has done remarkably well with guiding me, always trying to pull me back to remind me that as passionate as I am about Nigeria, I must never forget the place of Christ in my journey. So I thank you very much. Thank you, Larry. Forgive me, I had a very hectic day. I had to speak at 2 events before being here. But Isha alone, he could have got a budget. So we've got to, I had to rush down. So forgive me if I'm panting. I promised my very good friend and brother, Femi, that I would not be controversial. Uncle Toye, do you think it's possible? You know it's not, Because Femi says I can't be controversial, and today is October 1. And I'm supposed to be speaking about a country where SARS is killing young people like you and I, but you guys are trending Thatcher, free Thatcher on Twitter and Instagram. And you don't want me to be controversial. You know what? So let's go. I'm going to try, because you see, you know, it's important because church is a place of refuge. I grew up in a Christian home. I do not know how I would be where I am without the sheer mercy and grace of God. And therefore I consider that if we, the people of the church of this country, would simply just rise and understand that we're the salt of the earth and the light of the world, Nigeria has no business being the poverty capital of the world. Like, we took over from India as a country with the highest number of poor people in the world. Yet, guess what? Some of the richest people out of Africa come from Nigeria. I've never lived in a season of ironies as we're currently living. And so I'm going to open by saying that Nigeria is a criminal enterprise. And I call it a criminal enterprise because this is Nigeria, where polling booths get to the remotest villages during elections, but water, electricity, and basic amenities never get to these places. Am I saying something to someone this afternoon? And if you let me, I will continue and say that Nigeria is a criminal enterprise, a thick forest of predatory leaders and citizens who thrive in self-pity and analysis paralysis on social media. A people convinced that the book of Lamentations was written because of Nigeria. And I will continue. In a country where strange bedfellows who mistaken politics for leadership suddenly become friends overnight, when the subject is about winning or rigging elections or mindless looting of our public treasury, one in which an artisan collects more than the market price for the repair of a vehicle, purchases the fake part of that vehicle, fixes it 3 times, And when his client complains, he says, Madam, that's so in Ibodua. A country where pizza delivery is faster than our police rapid response squad. Where Yahoo boys and fraudsters have brighter futures than those of hardworking young people like you and me, who go through tertiary institutions only to graduate into a non-existent labor market. That is after lecturers have asked female students for 5 rounds of knacking. Some people even call it mekwe. So you don't just deploy brain activity. The collapsed value systems of our nation state also ensures that girls pay for everything with their bodies. Youth, many of whom are already on a codeine diet, because we live in a society where drug barons and scoundrels are honored with chieftaincy titles and doctorate degrees, with very little recognition or attention given to people who do decent work with a dedicated sense of industry. The man who designed the Nigerian flag that all of you are posting on your social media pages today is an over 90-year-old man who lives in complete poverty in a small city called Ibadan, in a large city. Now, I worry because, and I'm not going to just come here to rehash the problems for you, but I want to give you a background so that we don't gather here in October, on October 1st, 2020 to motivate ourselves again, because talk doesn't cook rice. So the truth is, when Femi shared with me a couple of days ago, I almost didn't come. You know why? Because this is the country that does the highest number of conferences in the world. You can never go to China, Singapore, Japan. The time that we dedicate to conferences is the time that they dedicate to building Toyota and Honda. Problems of nations are not solved at talk shops. Problems of nations are solved in laboratories that are equipped in secondary schools and universities. Now, you see, but in our country, public agencies are saddled with the responsibility of service to citizens, but they are tossed like coins and pawns in the hands of exploitative elite that hold the reins of power and are above the law, simply because they have deep pockets, money that they stole from we, the helpless masses. I remember a story that I heard 2 years ago when I was going to school at Harvard, where I took my master in public administration. President Trump had pulled out of the Paris Climate Agreement, and a man called Mayor Bloomberg rose to the table and decided to pay America's share of that climate change agreement. One man. I do not know the mindset of change that the rich people of my country have, because they are so rich, all they have is, they are so poor, all they have is money. You know, I remember the story of when the China Civil Engineering and Construction Company wanted to recruit young people to train them in China in transportation engineering. They wrote to a particular minister, and he didn't know that the permanent secretary had placed the advert. And these young people and their parents went and sold their property, trying to get international passports so they could travel. But guess what that minister did? He shared the letter between his fellow ministers and told them to nominate their own candidates. And so on the day that these young people were meant to be interviewed in Abuja, they gathered in front of the ministry, and the minister had the temerity to say that there was nothing like that was going on. That's the sort of country that we live in. And Nigeria is 59 today. Life expectancy rate in Nigeria is just a little bit close to that. It means that if your parent is above about 50 or 51, they are already doing overtime. Because my friend Ayo Shogoro wrote a book, Everything in Nigeria is Going to Kill You. And as I was just sitting, listening to the brilliant speeches of these people, I couldn't think of any other thing else but to leave you folks this afternoon with something that I want to be able to define as the global competitiveness of young people. Now, every time you get on your mobile phone and you sit on the internet, you are not competing against the young person in Ibadan, in Kano, Kaduna, or Abuja. You are competing with the young people in Ghana, in South Africa, in Kenya, in Singapore, in Malta. Countries where young people are obsessed with their mobile phones and they're browsing on their phones, and a nation realizes that their millennials are dying because they're always looking down on their mobile phones while crossing the roads. You know what they did in that country? They removed the traffic lights from facing the cars and put the traffic lights on the roads so that the red light can beep into your eyes. And that way, that country reduced millennial accidents by 49%. Now, 2 years ago, the Prime Minister of the UAE sponsored by 25 of us from the Harvard University Emirates Leadership Program to go and understudy the public policy frameworks of the UAE. By the way, that country has the youngest Minister of Youth, a 22-year-old Shamal Mazrui. But in Nigeria, people are saddled with the responsibility of making policies for a future they are not going to be part of. So they do not just take away our privileges as young people. They also take the privileges of our children. You know, the unfortunate thing is many of us are running away from Nigeria and going to Canada. I don't even have friends left in Nigeria because everyone's gone. But we would be here. The reason why we would be here is because Chinese built China. Americans built America. Take a look. I would rather be the first version of myself than be the second version of somebody else. And if you are a student of history, you would know that countries like America, for example, I wanted to play a short video. I don't know if they have it. But Tim Cook said, Tim Cook is the CEO of Apple. He said that if he walked into America and tried to find software engineers, by the way, you know Apple is the most valuable brand in the world, right? So he says if he walked into a room in America and tried to find software engineers, he would fill a conference room. But if he needed to find software engineers in China, he would fill football fields. He said that we call China a cheap economy. That's why people abuse you and say your phone is chinko. But there's a reason why Polo Ralph Lauren designs in America and goes to produce in China. There's a reason why Apple designs your iPhone X in America and produces in China. He says it's not the quantity of the skill, it's the quality and the scale of the skill. And the amount of production you can do within a short period of time. Now guess what? Nigeria is such a great country, but Asia's content and delivery exposes the emptiness of Nigeria. Because Nigeria has huge population as much as China and Japan does. But what do we young people do in Nigeria? Stay on Twitter and whine and complain about all the things that are wrong with our country. How many of you studied biochemistry and made the attempt of trying to even test anything? You folks go to university and study electrical engineering for 5 years, and your light bulb spoils in your house and you need to wait on a local sharafa to come and fix it. You studied mechanical engineering for 5 years in the university, came out, did NYSC 6 years. In addition to strike, you probably spent 8 years. Then you put your wife and children in the car on a picnic, and your carburetor dies on 3rd Milan Bridge, and you leave it and tow it. You are the problem of Nigeria. And you leave it and tow, but guess what? It's not your fault. It is because the curriculum my father was taught with accounting in LASU in the 1970s is the same accounting they are teaching you. An accounting that does not help you compete with the secondary school students in Ghana. Do you understand the scale of the problem? That our global competitiveness as a generation is what will drive sustainable economic growth for Nigeria. You can complain about the government all you like, but nations are not built by governments. Nations, listen, our government is irresponsible. Yes, we know that at different levels. I mean, we've seen governors pack money and put it in their pockets, in their agbadas. Right? But tell me how that affects you in Lagos. Why is it your business to spend 4 hours trending? You people are the ones who trend hashtags during elections. You are the ones who collect cheap money and trend hashtags for criminal politicians. I said it at an event one day that if a governor walked into a room, I won't rise to do a standing ovation and I won't clap. He's my employee. My vote puts him in office. It is me who should be sitting and the governor is standing. His salaries are paid for my taxes. He's driving a Jeep because I pay my taxes. Guess what? Did you see the photograph of Governor Ambode a few days after May 29? He was at the airport with his backpack on the back, like you and I. Yes. Take away all the paraphernalia of office. Some of those governors cannot light a candle to you and I. And every time you run into a governor, don't take selfies. A system that does not demand mandatory accountability from its leaders has failed. And you and I are the ones who embolden these leaders to treat us the way they do. Why are you taking a selfie? Are you going to show it at the airport and you're going to get a visa? What do you need it for? Your father's pension has not been paid. You run into the governor, you take a selfie. The thunder that is going to fire you. He's still doing press up. The road to your house is not hard. You run into your local government, you are raising your 2 hands. Your mother has been working in civil service because she's refusing to sleep with someone. She's not been promoted. You run into your deputy governor. You are hailing him. You tweet at him and tell him that it's the best thing since sliced bread. How do you want our leaders to feel that they know that we have no sense? Let me quickly finish so I can round off. Our national badge of honor is consumption and importation. Nigeria is the largest importer of rice. We are number 2 in terms of champagne consumption in the whole world. We are number 1 market for imported mobile phones. Rwanda just manufactured their first car, June 26, 2018. Claire Kamanzi, who's the Director General for the Rwanda Economic Development Board, was my classmate at Harvard. And if you go to my social media pages, or even if you go and search Toyosi Akirele, President Paul Kagame, you'd see my photographs on President Paul Kagame's page. He was my case protagonist in the class called the Microeconomics of Competitiveness, taught by Professor Michael Porter at the Harvard Business School. In that class, a professor brings a president of a country to come and answer to some of the most brilliant students in the world. And that class afforded President Paul Kagame to come and talk about primary education. Guess what? 27 years ago, or maybe a little more, Rwanda was a country that was almost experienced, that was in a genocide. Over 800,000 people died. Today, Kigali is the cleanest city in Africa. Today, the ease of doing business, Rwanda is number 1 on the continent. Today, Rwanda has the highest number of women parliamentarians in the world. 82% of their parliamentarians are women. Yes. The person who drives the Rwanda economic recovery system, Claire Kamanzi, is my friend. We were classmates. Any country where people do not hold their leadership accountable, or any country where people are not blessed with the quality of leadership that needs to drive some sort of radical transformation, that country is joking. You don't even just think about Rwanda. You think about the fact that the only engineering campus of Carnegie Mellon University in the whole of Africa is in Rwanda. You think of the African Institute of Mathematical Sciences, it's in Rwanda. A country whose population is not up to the population of Oyo State, of Lagos State rather. Is the country where the president, did you hear the time when President Trump said that Rwanda, Uganda, and a couple of them needed to start the president, America will cancel trade relations with East Africa because they stopped importing fairly used clothes and underwear. You know what President Paul Kagame told them? He said that America can cancel it. It's not about the trade, it's about the dignity of their people. When people wear fairly used underwear, it's what it does. Do you understand what I'm saying? It took a president to look at America's president, the most powerful president in the world, and tell him that it's not going to be business as usual. Now, you young people are studying courses that you are not going to find jobs with. Because the jobs that you are being trained for today, what we call, do not align with what we call the jobs of the future. There's something that's going on that's called the future of work and the fourth industrial revolution. The first industrial revolution was steam. The second one was manufacturing. The third one was internet and mobile technology. The fourth one is artificial intelligence, blockchain technology, robotics, machine learning, data science. If you have a data science skill in the world today, your entry-level salary is $60,000. You guys want to study English language so that you can do what? The person teaching you the English language is teaching you with Yoruba intonation. You don't understand the scale of the problem. I want to close. But I want to tell you that Bebodier and Soapy is not your future. Because that's what I see you young people preoccupied with. And the truth is, you see, I'm 35. So I'm still one of you. I'm like, it's a privilege that I'm the one standing. I probably would have been in one in the crowd listening. I don't think that I'm extraordinary or I know anything different from you folks know. But I want to quickly talk about the future of work and the fourth industrial revolution. There are four things that make any country powerful. The first one is population. The second is economy. The third is technology. And the fourth is education. The quality of education you get in Nigeria today, with your mobile phone and the internet, many of you can get full education. I'm 35 and I consider myself well educated. But only last week, I enrolled with the London School of Economics to start studying data science for management. Why? Because I realized that we've just opened the RISE Labs, the first artificial intelligence-powered learning, research, and work readiness center in Nigeria. And the plan, and we've just finished building, he shared the job bot. And he shared the job bot was, you know, we got into the final track for the UN AI for Good in Geneva in March this year. And what he shared does is it's a machine learning, it's a chatbot. It's a smart and intelligent chatbot that leverages machine learning methodologies to be able to prepare you young people for the future of work. It's preloaded with over 1 million questions and answers, and all you need to do to access it is Facebook Messenger. I was speaking to the Society for Petroleum Engineers last week, Saturday, about the future of digital transformation in the oil and gas sector. And I was talking to them about the importance of using blockchain technology to drive fraud detection in the oil and gas industry. And I was asking the petroleum engineering students a few questions. How would you, as a petroleum engineer, determine which area to drill in? Only one or two of them could mention soil sensors and seismic surveys. It was me who was talking about Arduino boards and jumper wires and potentiometers. I studied law. I have zero background in science and tech, but I want to lead this country at some point one day. And guess what? You cannot use yesterday's knowledge to face today's challenges. There's no way. If you're not speaking the language of the future, whatever skill you are learning and you are not beginning to tie it to science and tech, foundations of nations are built on science and tech. I was speaking to the MD of a bank who said to me, Toyosi, how can I drive financial inclusion and bank the unbanked in a country with 128 million mobile phones and less than 30 million bank accounts? And of those bank accounts, only 2% of them have over 500,000 naira in their accounts. it means that only 20,000 Nigerians have over 500,000 naira in their accounts. That's how poor we are as a country. And I said to him, you are going to do what you call geospatial technology, avionics, drone technology. Rwanda Biomedical Center is using drones to deliver blood to rural areas so that we can reduce child mortality and maternal mortality. The UK just opened the £250 million artificial intelligence lab to drive research and development for the healthcare system of the UK. We talk about the fact that women are dying, but you forget that we can use artificial intelligence and predictive analytics to check the presence of breast and cervical cancer in women. You can use artificial intelligence to simply use the teardrop of a day-old newborn child to check the presence of asphyxia in that child and begin to administer the right medication. Because research shows that children don't die on the day. Many children who die at birth don't die on the same day. They die within 28 to 48 hours. And so if you understand artificial intelligence, the mere teardrop that comes out of that baby's eyes can be tested to find asphyxia, and you can preserve that baby's life. And these are things that the world is talking about. And you folks here in Nigeria are talking about Bibi Niger. So as much as the government has failed us, you, my people, my generation, you are failing me as well. Mommy Wumi Hassan talked about young people solving problems. Mommy, is not that easy. In the same situation where the same mind clamors for bread and books, bread will always win. Omote being paniko makomemo. Kosibo shele call. Mommy, the elite of Nigeria has mastered the art of making sure that they use our poverty against us. Because when people are poor, they can never make the right choices. Because people who have not eaten cannot do critical thinking. Because people who have not paid their school fees cannot apply themselves to solving problems. Take Biba to Kuro, Nino or Omo, 80% problem yet to talk. That's the reason why it takes me to the next issue of stomach infrastructure. Can I end now or should I quickly finish? What is stomach infrastructure? If I gave you a job with which you can feed yourself and live a good life with your family, on the day of election, you will walk confidently to the polling booth and vote your choice. But when they tell you to sell your democratic right for 1,000 naira per year, that is the 4,000 naira you collected on the day of election is for the next 4 years. How do you go back to such a person to tell him that the roads are bad? You've collected your money up front. Yes. But guess what? It's also not our fault. But you know, this generational blame of the old people did this and the old people did that, it's not going to change anything. The Nigerian technology industry was not built because government wanted it to be built. We young people said that tech will come to Nigeria, and it's happening. When Occupy Nigeria happened in 2012, the president had to bow to the whim of the people. If you young people are determined that in your own little corner, you will learn a new skill. Economies that are skill-driven are superior to economies that are knowledge-driven. That is why the UK and America can have the best schools in the world, but China has the best vocational centers in the world. That way, productive economies. That's the reason why you have your theoretical mechanical engineering knowledge, but you have to succumb to Sharafa, who does not know the difference between the cathode and the diode, but he has the knowledge, he has the skill. You have the knowledge. The world pays for the skill you are able to render, not the knowledge you have in your head. Now, as I close, I want to speak a bit to the girls, because I'm a girl like you. And you have all the excuses in the world to want to sleep with this old man, to want to do wrong. I'm not speaking from a morality angle, but I have the authority to speak on it because I've lived a fairly decent life, and I know that you see, the man who you need to sleep with to get money is not a blessing. If you kneel in the corner, my Bible says that the hearts of kings and chiefs is in the hands of God. That Lord, when this man sees me today, and he will grant everything I want. Listen, The Bible says faith that is as small as a mustard seed. It is not you being superior to everybody. It is you having faith that you carry something and that the grace in you cannot succumb to mere immorality. I want to speak to the girls. Some of you who are obsessed with studying courses like nursing and catering and hotel management. I don't understand. Because I'm seeing girls, tell you what, situations where when girls go and study engineering, they change the entire landscape of engineering. Do you know that the 3 people that designed the mathematical framework that sent the first American to the moon, 3 of them were all women? If you've watched Hidden Figures, have you seen that movie? 3 of them were all women. Any country where women are sidelined, and that is part of Nigeria's problem. And when we talk about today being Independence Day, one of the ways Nigeria will truly attain independence is to begin to recognize the importance of women. Because women are listen, we're a country of, this is Nigeria, 100%. But we decide just out of sheer inanity and stupidity that we'll function at only 50%. So I decide to move with only 1 leg and 1 arm. I decide to move with only 1 leg and 1 arm. See how fast I can walk if I decide to use the whole of my body. That's what happens when you understand that women play a critical role in the development of any nation. Anytime, and look, people are going to give you the excuse of women that failed in government. They will tell you that, oh, Dezani stole money. Oh, this one did that. Tell them that for every woman who stole, 250 men stole before her. And that society cannot raise the standards for women higher than the standards of men. Women were first human beings and legitimate members of society before we were women. And I want to speak to the girls. You don't deserve that position of authority. You don't deserve that privilege. You don't deserve that admission or scholarship just because you are a girl. You deserve it, and you should get it on the strength of your character, your competence, and your capacity. If you don't have any of those 3, I will vote for a man above you. Because what I want is a better country. It doesn't matter who is leading. However, Nigerian women who wear anko and dance during political rallies. I've never heard of a quote by Madeleine Albright that says that there's a special place in hell for women who don't support other women. Let me close. When you think about the fact that robots are already doing the jobs that you want to do, there are 2 countries in Nigeria. One of them is one of the 2 biggest fast-moving consumer goods in Nigeria, consumer goods company. Robots are already moving goods from their factory floors to their warehouses. Where are you going to get the jobs? Hey, Soroni. The UAE is already celebrating the export of their last barrel of oil. They are already focusing on generating 30% of their GDP from tourism. And that country is prioritizing women and youth leadership. If young people are not given a chance to lead Nigeria, we're going to keep functioning at half measure. But it's not the quality of young people that we see on Twitter and Instagram. Young people who send nudes to married men to be able to buy iPhone X. Or young boys who prefer to do Yahoo to be able to live lives that they are not up to. But I will close by saying that young people must run for office. That 2023 must be an issue of if it is anything about us, without us is not for us. And if you just simply think about the opportunities that are taken away from us as a generation, about how Winston Udeaha, if you've ever seen designers like Gucci, YSL, Jimmy Choo, the biggest designers in the world, do you know where that leather comes from, sir? A small city in Nigeria called Kano. A big city. Winston Udeaha pays his staff about £120 just less than 60,000 to use chemical to clean goat skins in Kano. A man called Monaldo Morelli comes from Italy to buy the leather skins and takes it to Italy. Comes from the UK, takes it to Italy and resells it to the biggest designers. Winston Udeaha's factory in Kano is not painted. Monaldo Morelli turns over 300 million pounds a year. Just the power of sheer vision, the power of sheer understanding of the fact that science and technology is what lays the background for the sustainable growth of any country. And Redeemed Christian Church of God should be celebrated for putting together a program like this one. Because nobody would ever critique or contest the role that Redeemed does have as a leader in the world when it comes to faith and religion. However, I don't know where your leaders of the church are, but our fathers and mothers who have put this church together, you need to help us. If the church wakes up and says, we don't want to build more universities, we need science and technology centers. We need places where people are being trained. At the top level, when you're coming into Nigeria, on that plane, 80% are Lebanese, Chinese, all the jobs, Toyaki Nigerians, Mache, foreigners, Tigbaton. At the lower level, our best tailors, our best tilers are from Togo, Niger Republic, and Cotonou. Yet we are running at a 24.3% youth unemployment. Are we not a country of a cacophony of noise and ironies? Are we not a country that is simply not able to apply critical? We've outsourced our critical thinking to God. One of the lines I hate the most in this country is "it is well." In the event that you do not agree with anything that I said this afternoon, I would be outside available to clarify, answer questions, argue. And I have angels around me, so if I draw the mini bus stop, it doesn't also matter. But if you ask me for any advice this afternoon, I would say, number one, read. Number two, have a PVC. Number three, vote for candidates based on common sense, not because of their religion, their looks, their lies, or their body language. Number four, learn a new skill. I want to coach your work. They will always eat. Your degree may not fetch you work, but you still have to pay your tailor. Your plumber still needs to fix your water system. The electrician still needs to make this place light up. Your carpenter still needs to build you chairs. There's nothing that is more shameful than a man who cannot provide for himself. And so you are not better than your carpenter because you have a degree and he doesn't. He's actually better than you. And the day you develop that mindset, that what makes you who you are is what you have in you, not what the society says you have. Because the people that you are trying to impress are not even a quarter as good as you are. And you need to be the one to own your story. You need to be the one to prepare for a future and tell yourself, if I run for governor in my state, what I'm doing today, is it going to disqualify me? And in closing, you, the young man, do not think that our generation of women were born to help you suffer. No. Authority is not a bad thing, but if while you are supposed to be going to school, you were wearing dreadlocks and earrings, and you now turn 37, and you are quoting revelations that in the end time, more men are going to be 7 women to 1 man. In my mother's time, young girls wanted to marry at 18. In my generation now, young girls want to do their PhDs, and I hope you understand. I thank you.
Thank you very much. For those who are at home, for those who are watching us globally, allow me to say this. Toyosi has spoken in a most provocative manner. But understand this, for those who are watching us online, wherever you are in the world, in developing nations and developed nations, and for those who are watching us in Nigeria, if your life does not embrace critical thinking, it will manifest thinking. And that's what she has told us. Critical thinking. The end result of the agenda beyond rhetoric is not for excitement. It is that you will leave this room angry, upset, determined to do something different. I firmly believe that in the coming episodes or the coming seasons of the agenda, maybe 3.0, we will be able to have those who are not physically present with us be able to ask us questions. Because right now, for those in the studio, you're going to ask us questions. Be warned. Having listened and received that which you have heard, the quality of your questions must be insightful. The quality of your questions must be deep. Otherwise, we will ask you a question. Why did you come? And why are you here? When you ask your question, please note, you must let us know to whom specifically your question is addressed to. Follow the KISS rule. Keep it short and simple. KISS. Keep it short and simple. And please boldly let us know, let the world know who you are by identifying yourself. Please go ahead, Sabrina.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you very much for this opportunity to ask this question. My name is Miracle Ntui, a graduate of economics.
Say that again. Your name is?
Miracle Ntui.
Miracle Ntui.
Yes. And my question goes to Mr. Yola and Mr. Cole, if I get the name correctly, please.
Yes.
Now, you find out that I believe both of you are employers of labor. So you find out that when you see an advert placement for a job interview, they are great already for it. You have to be either a first-class graduate or at most a 2-1. You made a 2-1 in the university. Now, you find out that our universities these days are not up to standard. For a lady like me who studies, at some point, let me give this experience, I was almost discouraged because we burn the candle. We are busy reading and studying, and then some person who is supposed to be a classmate is not around, does not come for lectures, and then at the end of semester exams, you go to the notice board to check your semester results. You find this person having A's, and then you are having B or C, or a lecturer comes to the hall and tells you, if you don't do this, you have to fight your way all through. And then at the end of the day, not because you're not intellectually capable, but because of the system, you come out with a third class or a pass. Because, and as a result of that, you can't get a job. And employers of labor, because you don't have the opportunity to have a one-on-one meeting with them, you can't even get access for an interview, for them to even assess you.
What is your question?
My question is this: how do we get through this phase in this society? How do we get access to get some persons that are not able to get this grade because of this? What do we do?
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Please be reminded, I would not want to interrupt your contribution. It would not make your communication look professional. As much as possible, please do not ask questions with section 4, subsection 2, 3, 5, and 6. Follow the KISS rule, because we want to be able to see if we can accommodate as many persons as possible. Do not get caught up in verbosity.
Okay, so one of the things I do is I run an engineering design school, and basically one of the criteria is we don't even look at the CV anymore. And why is that so? For the first 6 years of the business, we found out that the people that were coming in who had engineering degrees from universities did not have the requisite ability to interpret design. And so we had to go back to schools, to universities, to do what they call a competency test. Across 15 universities in Nigeria, we had a 2.3% success on campuses for that. So we said to ourselves, if a person wants to work in an engineering design school as a teacher, the person should be able to have some capacity to self-teach themselves. So you come with basic understanding. So the biggest challenge we have right now is most of us are going through education, which is just basic. We do not acquire skills. So, Miss, you said you studied economics, right? Now, let me ask a very simple question around, are you still in school or you're done? You're done. Okay, great. Now, do you understand how the economy of Nigeria works?
Very good to an extent, yes I do.
So what is IRR?
Sorry?
What is our internal rate of return?
What is the international rate of return?
What's the internal rate of return?
Seriously, that I don't know.
What is capital expenditure?
Capital expenditure.
What is operational expenditure? No, so we're not putting you on the spot, right? We're not putting you on the spot, but you need to understand that there are basic things. Basic. Now, one of the things that is lacking is the fact that many of us have head knowledge. We cannot interpret or communicate what we say we know. I am sure if I give you a paper right now, you would write the definition of what I just said. Do you know that? But what happened to you is your confidence wavered, and you don't have a second chance to make a first impression. So the moment you come into the space and you don't have what I need, I would not give you a second chance. So you need to understand that while you are learning how to read and write and decipher things, you must learn how to persuade and communicate the knowledge you know. Tell your sister something very clear. Nobody cares what you have up in your head. As long as it does not translate to solutions, no one cares. The best hands I have in my office are 23-year-old boys. And I have a girl. If you go to the page of our company, there's an animation that was put up on the page. It was done by a 17-year-old girl. She finished from FTCE, Federal, FCT, I don't know, Federal School of Technology or something like that. She was self-taught on YouTube. Self-taught on YouTube. Right now, she's earning salaries that those who have PhDs don't earn. Why? Because she came to the table with value. 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 That's all it is. If you can get value, what's the name of this guy in Oyo State? That was the commissioner for youth and Shehu Fakorede, young boy. He came to the table with value. I sat with him and he said, I do not know the governor from anywhere.
He met him on LinkedIn.
Simple. That was what it was. The man saw his digital footprints and the man knew that he had something to offer. The thing is, if I go to your pages right now, what would I see? More chilling. Or you see hashtag release Thatcher now. But the point is, the things you know, are you putting it out there? You know, one of the things that happened recently is the fact that every employer, and I think the US Embassy is doing that now, part of your interview process is that they will check what you have on social media. Every employer is doing that now. So your LinkedIn profile, your Facebook profile, those of you that put up bikini and skirt and whatever you put up breast out there, it's your cup of tea. Young men who go out there and all you have on your page is the bottles of beer you've broken. It's your cup of tea. You are your own biggest undoing. So even if I want to offer you a job, I would not do that because you would not represent my brand properly. Number two, if you are going to be the one to render service as a vendor or a service provider, do your values tally with what I have to what I stand for? Sometimes no. But as long as I see that this guy is the best at what he does, I will give it to him. I will run up with this. On this redemption camp, for more than 15 years, the biggest and best artisans were people from the other religion. The church did not care whether you are from Throne of Zion Parish or you are from Heaven Came Down Parish. you do not have what is required to deliver value, step out. If you think that you don't have a seat at the table, check what you bring to the table itself.
So, Ayola has said most of it, but I'll just give you 2 live examples. Every single time that we have a recruitment, right, and we say GMT, Graduate Management Trainee Program, and you put it out there, you put it on LinkedIn, you put it on all the social media platforms, 20,000 people, 20,000 would apply for the job of 20 positions. 20,000. The majority of the 20,000 that apply don't even know why they're applying. They don't read it, they don't know it, and all of that. So, the other day I was sitting down with my son and I said to him, look, I've been doing for many years HR and all of that. And I can tell you one thing, that those who are employing are not stupid. We went through this system as well. So we know that people sleep to get first class, they sleep to get 2-1 and all of that. And if you think that we take the CV and we employ you just on your CV, then you must think that we are absolutely stupid. We're not. We're not. Most people who will actually get a job as long as it's merit. I'm not saying that there are those who don't get it based on who you know by the side, come and sleep with somebody, do this, do that. There are those ones. But check those companies out. Those companies don't go far. Any company that knows what it's worth has no business taking a look at the CV and saying that it's the CV that will employ them. Absolutely not. And so, when you are competing with that number of people that are totally out of job, coming out of school with first class, second class, 2-1 and all of that, you must, and that's the bottom line here, you must add something more of value. Most people are going to come out of this place now, and they see me. I work in Team Nehemiah, so I'm always there. I'm outside in the public for all to see. Approachable to the 100% T, I can't hide, so I'm there. If 100 people come up to me, 99 of them are going to ask me for either money or a job. Okay? Now, those who are asking for a job, they have 2 minutes to differentiate themselves from every other person that is going to come. In those 2 minutes, they will not differentiate themselves. Just give me anything. Let me just do a job. Anything that you have. I hear you are the CEO of Sahara. I know you, sir. Can I get anything? It doesn't work that way. You have 2 minutes. Train yourself. Get up. Ask that, what is it that is going to make me different as an economist? That if I walk up to somebody and I have an opportunity to get this job, I'm going to make a difference to them. People come for interviews and I ask them, I say, what does Sahara do? They have no idea. It's on the internet. They have no idea. They say, you sell petrol. I say, really? Really? And you came for, no, but I'm telling you, people come for interviews totally unprepared. Unprepared. So it's not about the CV, and if you focus on the CV alone, you will miss it. So to everybody here, please don't focus on your CV. Your CV is 1 in 1,000 that people are looking at. What are you going to write? Do you take the time to write a cover letter that puts your CV totally out? You are applying for a job, but you have not decided that, I know that there are 1,000 people that are applying for this job, but let me just use 1 paragraph to tell you why you should employ me. Open up with that sentence. Say, leave my CV, but this is why you should employ me. Speak about yourself in that paragraph. If I see that, I know that you are different. In a whole paragraph, in a whole bundle of CVs. What makes you different? Ask yourself that question over and over again. What makes me different? If you can answer that question, you have a job. If you can't answer that question, you will struggle from today till next year, and the job will just not come.
Just 60 seconds.
60 seconds.
What I'm going to say to every young person that can hear me today is this. Get away from a job mentality, because the jobs are gone and they will never be there. And that is the honest truth. Toyosi has spoken so well about artificial intelligence and robotics. What do you think those things are doing? Taking away the jobs. May I say to everyone that cares to listen, there will never be jobs. There are already moves saying that the jobs are going. What we need to do, forget the grade, just get the skill and create your economy with the skill that you have. If you're an economist, there are small businesses looking for somebody to point them in a direction of how to run their small petty trade. You can create an industry there. In every street, I can say there will be over 1,000 people who are doing small businesses. I know of somebody who started a consulting firm today, an accounting firm, to big corporates who started with people in Idumota, those who you call Inugota. He started preparing their books of account. Skill. He left a polytechnic, not even a 2-1. If you are looking for jobs, it will never come.
All right. You know, Mr. Cole, Mr. Yobola said some very provocative things. Sabrina, we're going to come to you, but we need to get this out there for those who are watching us. The jobs are going. For some, the jobs have gone. For some persons, your last degree was your last investment in personal development. You are not better than an illiterate, if that is your approach. Excellence in value silences mediocrity. Excellence in value. Toyosi was not born like this. She did not drop, boom, Harvard, this, that. She did not. For some of us, we are, you know, one of the biggest industries in Nigeria, an industry called excuses. It's one of the biggest industries. I could not. I am unable to. I cannot. Why? Because you're manufacturing excuses. You will never build a successful house on the back of manufacturing excuses. Tell yourself, time up. If you're in, wherever you are, time is up. Global competitiveness. They that compare themselves with themselves are not wise. If you're boasting in Nigeria, at a certain age, look at what those of your age in another nation of the world are doing. Sabrina, let's take more questions.
All right. Good evening, everybody. I really want to appreciate the organizers for this. My name is Bruno Giame. I had a series of questions to ask.
All right, so you take one.
So I just want to take it slowly.
Bruno?
Yes.
You will ask one question.
Yeah, I'm going somewhere, please.
No, Bruno.
I'm not going to talk long. Just please.
If you do not take
60
one question.
seconds. 60 seconds.
60 seconds starts now.
Thank you. I want to appreciate everybody for what they said. Thank you. Mommy, you said something. You said the adults are accusing, we are accusing the adults that they didn't do well. And what I'm getting from this panel today is that even the youths are not doing well. So I'm asking, what are the youths that are doing well? What are the adults doing about them? Are they going to help these people? Are they going to, I'll keep blaming those that are not doing well, those that are putting on Instagram. Because we are basing all of this on those that are on Instagram, that are not doing well, those that are trending on Twitter. What of those that want to do well and there's really no privilege to do anything? Thank you.
All right. We're going to take, for all those who are watching us at home, we have begun the countdown to this year's agenda. We have less than 7 minutes on the clock. We'll take Toyosi's response. Time has never been the friend of any intellectual stimulating discourse. But action is calling upon us right now. Toyosi will take your response, and I will be inviting a gentleman to round off this. It's a global engagement, so those who are watching us, because of the production and timing, were unable to proceed. There are displays on all our social media communication. I mentioned an engagement that we need to connect to in 4 pivotal areas: tech, governance, enterprise, and what else? It is important for us to engage on this platform. Collaboration is key. Toyosi will take your response to that gentleman called Bruno, and then I invite a gentleman to round off the Agenda 2.0 Beyond Rhetoric 2019. Chelsea.
Bruno, let me quickly just answer a question. You said that, how about the young people who are doing well? The unfortunate thing is, the people who are doing well are in the minority, and they are preoccupied with so much work that they don't pay attention to frivolities. So those are the ones, you know, if you look at the amount of young people who simply just say, I follow back, follow me, I follow back, on social media, I've never seen anything more annoying. The truth is, if you're building something, growth takes time. And that's what I want our generation to learn. Because we want things so fast. You want to arrive so fast that you're not paying attention to the process. Now, this is where mentoring plays a key role. Remember that I opened my conversation by acknowledging the role that people like Uncle Toye and Uncle Larry played in my life. But guess what? I've never gone to any of those two people to ask them for money before. Both of them are here. I always position myself as, what can I do to help? Because when you go and ask Mr. Tonyeko for money, you are one of 1 million people. You are not unique in any way. I'm very close to a woman called Mrs. Folorunso Alakija. She's the richest black woman in the world. You probably know that. I can never forget the day, she's $500 million richer than Oprah Winfrey. I can never forget the day I took a gift to her house and said, Mommy, this is what I brought for you. And she was so grateful. Like, so grateful it was unimaginable. And I was like, why? She said, because she's so wealthy. Everybody thinks that she has everything. Nobody remembers to give her anything. And that's how that woman flew and came to my graduation at Harvard. Now, because when you go to people like this, who everybody goes to, who told you they don't need help? I have mentors, rich, successful people in this country who probably have money, but they need your own intellect to mentor their own children. Uncle Tony, what's your daughter studying? Maybe I'm into creative arts. Maybe I can come to the house and help her. You don't know that if his daughter begins to trust you as an art tutor, you get anything from him. Listen, your value is determined by the vacuum that your absence creates. If you are not there and we don't miss you, you know what it feels like to have a Holy Ghost service if Daddy Adeboye is not around. Now, when Daddy Adeboye is around, there's an electrifying presence upon the environment. That is the value that Daddy Adeboye brings to the table. So don't worry about you. I want you young people to leave here today trusting your process. It's okay if people don't believe in what you're building. Okay? But a diamond was a chunk of coal that stuck to its job and made good under pressure. People never see the process you went through. They celebrate the good things that come out of it. So you need mentors. And if you can add value to the life of someone, don't go to Mr. Cole asking him for a job. Tell him that, Mr. Cole, I hear that Sahara has been having a challenge in this downstream area. I've been reading about this issue and I have 2 solutions. Number 1, you can do this. Number 2, you can do this. He will be the one to ask you for your card. He needs your solution. He needs your ideas. And I'm worried about young people always talking about somebody stole your idea. Nobody steals anybody's idea because there's something called serendipity. In the world today, there's a reason why you launch a product in Nigeria today. Somebody launches it in Palo Alto, in California, and 2 of you have never met each other. As God lays it in your heart, 1 million people got it. The first person to implement an idea is the owner of the idea. So if you have an idea today and you are waiting for money, it will never come. The least you need to implement your idea is money. Do you have a LinkedIn page? Do you have a Twitter page? Do you have an Instagram page? What do you post on your social media? Let me give you an example. I started my artificial intelligence and data science journey only a few months ago, March. And I made a deliberate attempt that I was tired of doing youth and education development work, and I wanted a solid career shift. I have an arts background, 0 science, 0 technology, and I started to study data science. Just last week, in fact, it's good Uncle Tony is here because I'm still going to come and meet you. I can't tell you the whole story, but last week, I got an offer for a group position in one of the 4 multinationals in the world. Why? They are looking for a data science lead with management experience from an African country. And how many people do you know in Nigeria who know data science and artificial intelligence? But me, with a law degree, I'm building a rainfall detector using Arduino board and potentiometers. What do I want to do with it? To use AI to drive urban mobility. Because research is showing that cities with high level of traffic are losing 40% of their productivity. So how do you buy a 5,000 naira rainfall detector and use it to predict rain will fall at Ikoyi by 4 p.m. I'm not going out today, I will do my meeting online. That way 4,000 cars don't get into the road. The traffic is down. Artificial intelligence. I'm building what you call a motion sensor because I heard about the Port Harcourt serial killer. And I realized that increasingly, in no part of the world can you put CCTV cameras inside bedrooms. However, if I build a motion sensor using mathematical models, I can state for you people who know math and chemistry, I can use probability to determine the level of motion. So if I walk into your bedroom, because Uncle Tonya is my egbo, we come for the National Economic Summit group. And I say, Uncle Tonya, let me come to your room and I have an idea I want to share. I walk into Uncle Tonya's room and pull a chair and sit down. The motion sensor is installed somewhere who checked into the room does not know. It will probably just be there. The moment I grab Uncle Tonya by the arm and I'm trying to harm him and we are struggling, the motion sensor is beeping up to 50, 60, 75%. Security is being alerted. You can't put a CCTV camera, but you can put a motion sensor. Machine learning. So if you hear tomorrow that I quit my job as an entrepreneur and I decided to go and take an opportunity, I do not see a bigger platform to test and implement my ideas of radically using technology to revolutionize growth for Nigeria and to do that. So your ideas will come to fruition. Always trust your process. Don't worry about the people who are not doing well or the one they're doing well. Trust your own process. Madam, you studied economics. Go and learn financial modeling. Okay? If you learn it, you will have 4,000 graduates of economics. Only 10 of you will know it. You will be the one to get hired. And if you submit your CV and they don't call you, start to put your financial models on LinkedIn. People will start retweeting it. You will start getting small work. You will get a job. If you don't, come back and call me a liar in 6 months.
All right. For those who are watching us at home, online, on all our platforms, I am excited and I'm sad to say it is time for us to go. I want to say a very big thank you to Tonya Cole, RHETORIC, Omawumi Azan, Ayola Jola Yemi, Toyosi Akerele Ogunchiji, and to everyone who has connected with us. But it is not my responsibility to do other things, because someone is going to do something. But I want to ask you a question. In the future, will I see you doing exploits? My name is Abiodun Famujuro. I would like to call up now Oluwadamilare Adeboye.
Nigeria. Theme: engaging the power of the youths as the key pivots of sustainable nation building. Date: Nigeria. Theme: engaging the power of the youths as the key pivots of sustainable nation building. Date: